Hello viewers, this is Max Rakin reporting live from Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Haub News Network is pleased to be doing a study on business profits. The network compiled a team of industry-leading experts to dive deep into a debate that has been grappled with since the beginning of business. Adam Lichty, Cassidy Rumpf, Alex Gomez, and myself were lucky enough to be chosen as the study team to examine the question, are profits the only business of business? This question combines moral aspects of business with the profit aspects of business. Countless hours were spent by our team examining a wide variety of opinions on this question. We'll provide you with graphs and information that you will not be able to find anywhere else. Not only will we give you a bird's eye view of both sides of the debate, but we'll also show you an interview with an extremely successful entrepreneur and business consultant, Glenn Paul. By the end of this presentation, we hope that our viewers will have enough information to be able to formulate their own opinions pertaining to this topic. Enough of the small talk, let's dive into things. Here's the rest of our team to tell you about our studies.
Hi, I'm Alex Gomes from Haub News Network. This is our report on business profits. Are profits the only business of business? Well, there's many answers. Philosophers, economists, all vary and think differently on this topic. The two main sides are yes, profits are the only business of business. This side strictly focuses on profits, obviously, and it considers the importance of maintaining and increasing profits and increasing efficiency in a business without really focusing on a social impact for society. In a free market, capitalistic market, the only focuses of business should be its profits. That's how they think, the yes side. The no side differs a lot, that profits are not the only business of business. They should not be. This side believes that increasing and maintaining profits is not the only responsibility of business, or businesses. Moral foundations are very important to a society for it to succeed. Market systems, capitalistic systems, have to have moral foundation in business in order for them to succeed and continue. I'm going to take a look at Amazon, as most of you should be familiar with Amazon. It's a very large company. Since Amazon's conception in 1995, the company seemed to only focus on increasing its profits, and evidently so it has. From 2009 to present day, the company has evidently centered its focus on fulfillment efficiency, shipping, order time, just cutting it down and making the most sales that they can. This efficiency caused a dramatic increase in the revenue that has not slowed down since. It's been increasing stably every year since its conception. Amazon is known for and has received a lot of criticism from business analysts, writers, from very known published sources, that they don't really give back to society, and they don't really see the importance of it. They've received a lot of criticism. This article was called Amazon Amid Criticism, and that focused on how they were getting just bombarded with criticism, and they had to hire a social expert to make the company look better. The company rarely donates to charity, which is a big point of argument against that they're only focused on profits. They do not really contribute to community and structure, and it has been said that they do not treat their employees too well at corporate centers typically. And Amazon spends millions a year on research and development, as opposed to giving that back to the community, giving back to employees, helping out, making the work experience better for them, and they really only care on efficiency and increasing their sales. Here's a graph that shows Amazon's revenue. This is their revenue, started off at 600 million up to 2015, where it's 107 billion. So you can see it gradually increases, dramatically increases each year. In the past 5 years or so, they've averaged around 14% increases per year. You don't really get that without focusing on your profits and increasing efficiency. Profits are the most important business of business. Each quarter, companies must release a series of financial statements and documents that paint a picture of the efficiency and effectiveness of that firm or company. Arguably, one of the most important documents that that company has to release is its income statement. That'll show how much it's retaining from operating and if it's worth it for that company to continue operating. The income statement shows the firm's total revenue minus all expenses that is incurred for the period, and since 95% of people do not think like economists, they only look for accounting profit. They only look for the money. They only care about money. They really look over any implicit costs. They don't really look at that 95% of people since they don't think like economists. There are social benefits from increased profits by only focusing on increasing profits. Many people who argue that profits are the only business of business say that and state that successful and growing companies actually provide social benefits to society, much more in cases where companies focus on social services and social structure. These firms focus on increasing profits and efficiency, which will increase the amount the firm pays for federal taxes, which can be allocated more accurately and efficiently to benefit the public and really not be centralized on a certain group, kind of for everyone in the United States or any company. This shows where your tax dollars go. 27% of a dollar, this is cents, but I'll say it in percentage. 27% of your dollar goes to military, 13.9% goes to federal debt, 5% goes to veterans and benefits, 4.5 is for the government, 2% is for education, 1.5 is for international affairs, 1.1% is for science, 22.7% is for healthcare, 9.8% is for unemployment and labor, 5% is for food and agriculture, 4% is for housing and community, and 1.9% is for energy and environment, and 1.4% is for public transportation. And most of it is allocated towards military, healthcare, and debt. Benefits from focusing on profits. Increased profits and revenue will have positive effects on employees, shareholders, and any other special interest party. Larger amounts of profits could be distributed to employees in the form of bonuses or other benefits that could increase, or it could be invested to make the workplace a more enjoyable, safer, better place from the work, which is good. The more money the company makes, the more it will be taxed. The more money it taxed will effectively be allocated towards social services that the government will allocate. That was from an article written by a philosopher named Friedman on page 6. We will be interviewing our guest named Glenn Paul. His bio, he attended Princeton University from 1975 to 1979. Glenn and his partner Bob Clancy founded Clancy Paul Computers, which grew to be one of the largest distributors of Apple computers on the East Coast in the late 1980s and early 1990s. Glenn started one of the first photo publishing websites in 1999 named .photo, which was one of the first websites of its kind, and he still operates that today. Glenn currently runs .photo, consults for other businesses, runs his stock advice website called The Perfect Company, and runs a charity called the Trenton Digital Initiative, which he helped co-found. A summary and important points that he wanted to contribute were, as an active consultant for businesses with 35 plus years of experience, in our discussion of profits, he reiterated the importance of profits for business. Glenn stated that making money is the main reason for most businesses to perform and provide a good or service. He thinks an ideal business is one that focuses on generating profits and increasing those profits, but also puts forth the effort to provide a social good or service for society. He concludes that profits are the most important part of business from his past experience, but employers should take care of their employees and try to give back to society if they can. Glenn, do you think the only business of business are profits?
So, profits are to business what air is to life, right? You have to have profits or you can't stay in business. But if you're going to be an entrepreneur, if you're going to start a business, then you're going to have to learn to get along without profits for a while. And I've started a number of different businesses, and many times it's gotten to the point where we've wondered if we're actually going to make it. In fact, I remember about 9 months into my first business, the accountant's bringing us in and telling us, we're technically bankrupt and this is not going to work. I said, well, I feel like things are coming together now. I mean, we have customers who like what we're doing and they're buying more and more, and I just feel like it's going to work. And indeed, we did $1.1 million the first year, and we actually made money. We made a small profit that year. The interesting thing about profits is that no matter how much money you make, forces conspire to take away all the profits that you can make. When we got to be a much bigger company, I remember looking at the monthly statements and thinking, how do we get to the point where we're spending $20,000 a month on copier equipment? And not just equipment, but all the supplies that go with copiers. Because when you have a lot of copiers, everybody needs better and better copiers, and then they're all doing their kids' homework and everything with it. And so you really have to watch the expenses, and that's one of the ways that you manage profits. When you get to a big enough company, you have a CFO. We used to joke that he had things in different drawers of his desk, and so CFOs end up managing profits. They have some bad news that they can bring out if you're making too much money, and they sometimes have some good news that they can bring out. So that's why you see investors say, well, I want to have this predictable profit stream in companies in which they invest. And in practice, there's no way to really have a predictable profit stream. You have a bunch of big sales that come through, or the market goes down and customers don't feel like buying, and so sales constrict. But profits are managed in especially larger corporations, so that there is this predictable path and predictable dividends that people see, and they come to believe in them, but in practice, I don't think it's true. In fact, what often happens when a company has a bad quarter and they've just had a really horrendous time, they will throw in every loss that they can think of, and they'll get it all behind them. And sometimes that's a good time to invest because they've now gotten rid of all of the bad drawer, right? And the profits going forward are going to be more true than they would have been. But these guys just said, hey, we're going to get killed for this news. We might as well throw in all the bad news that we have. Now, I think we should talk a little bit about the social impact of this idea that profits are the only thing. And I think there are a lot of reasons that you're in business, and the one reason that you're in business is because it's most of what you do with your life. So you might as well do something that's interesting. I might be the pothole king if I found filling potholes was an interesting thing to do, and I'm sure it is for some people. It would probably involve going out and finding the right officials to schmooze with and listen to their stories as you get drunk together. I don't think I would enjoy that. Or even the process of filling potholes, I don't think it would be that interesting to me. So I think, first of all, you have to choose something that's going to be interesting to you. And that may not always be the most profitable thing, but you've got to be engaged. And then how you take care of people. I think that people should have health care. I think that people should live decent lives. And I think we all know what is meant by a decent life. If you watch the interviews of people who worked for Steve Jobs, some of them feel kind of good about what they've done, but terrible about their families and how their family lives fell apart. And I don't think it was some great technology that Steve Jobs was able to put together, but he was not a nice person. He didn't allow his people to live decent lives, even though they may have more money for it. So if you find yourself trading money for decency, I think it's a real problem. And we all have one life to live, so we're either going to serve profits altogether or realize that we need to have air, but we need other things too. So that's what I think about profits.
Thank you for your answer, Glenn.
I'm Cassidy Rumpf, and I'm going to tell you why profits are not the only business of a business. There are more aspects to a business other than profits. Businesses focusing solely on profits cause the economy to suffer, as shown by this graph. In this graph, corporate profits, GDP, and labor income are compared from 1970 to 2011. Though not shown explicitly, corporations have decoupled from the economy. When the economy crashes, everything else crashes. However, when the economy returns back to normal, corporate profits boost while everything else remains the same. Why do corporations' profits increase? They increase due to demand, interest rates, and cheap labor. Everyone has heard of the company Nestle. The company is notorious for its hot chocolate and water. Nestle controls 1/3 of the United States market. However, something they are not notorious for, but rather infamous for, is how they produce their products. Nestle obtains its chocolate from Africa, where they use slave labor to produce chocolate. Tens of thousands of African children work in dangerous conditions every day to produce the hot chocolate that so many Americans desire. Nestle does not stop there. The company also builds huge factories on the sites of natural places in America, which adds to air pollution and the pollution and depletion of our natural springs. In Mecosta County, Michigan particularly, Nestle has damaged the watershed with their excessive withdrawals. Despite all of this, Nestle still claims to have an environmentally friendly ethic. Still, Nestle obtains huge profits and leaves places like Mecosta County to deal with the consequences of destroying America's few natural spaces. This is just one example of a company focusing primarily on profits, believing that profit is the only business of a business. The McGraw-Hill microeconomics textbook defines the invisible hand as the tendency of competition to cause individuals and firms to unintentionally, but quite effectively, promote the interests of society, even when each individual or firm is only attempting to pursue its own interests. Businesses use the invisible hand as an excuse to justify their immoral practices. Businesses acting without moral concern basically means that the greatest good for society can be achieved only by acting without regard for morality. It is hypocritical of a businessman to act morally and expect to be treated in a moral manner in his personal life. But in his job, he will do anything to ensure profit, even if that means acting immorally. The invisible hand is an excuse for businesses to act immorally, and this can create several negative externalities. For example, the negative externalities of Nestle are slave labor and pollution. These negative externalities reduce profit because the public no longer has the demand for these products after finding out about the production process. Profits fall when companies do not practice social responsibility in their business. This graph shows negative externalities. The marginal social costs up here increase the price the company has to pay and decrease the quantity they may produce because of the negative externality represented by the purple triangle in the center. Social responsibility is an important part of a business and can help to increase profits in the long run. Investors prefer to invest in companies that are socially and morally responsible, creating more revenue for a business. And this is impact investments, which investors invest in if they know that they will make a big financial return. If companies focus more on being socially and morally responsible, higher profits can result. Companies will not need to worry about the public finding out about its practices and can attract more investors to bring money into the business. The economy can be regulated again with proper business practices and being moral when it comes to people and the environment.
Hi, I'm Adam Lichty, and I'm here to conclude our research. In order to further conduct our research, we conducted a survey. In this survey, we asked a sample of 50 St. Joseph's University business students, and we asked them the question, are profits the only business of businesses? As you can see, 38 out of 50, or 76%, said yes, and only 12 out of the 50, or 24%, said no. This proves that most people believe that profits are the most important part of businesses. There are some disadvantages to companies being focused on only profits. When companies are only focused on profits, they can be immoral. If companies want to make profit, they might take advantage of unfair labor, or they can find cheaper ways to make their product. Volkswagen was recently caught doing this in their emissions scandal. The people at Volkswagen were they found a way to trick the United States Environmental Protection Agency. Volkswagen had a system built into their cars, so when their cars went into testing, the cars would release a safe, legal amount of pollution. But when the cars went out into the streets, the system in the car would turn off and the cars would be releasing an unhealthy, unsafe amount of pollution. They were saving billions of dollars not updating and improving their cars' emissions until they were caught and sued. They were forced to pay $14.7 billion and had to spend $10 billion on buying back their cars that they did this false emissions testing. We as a group have decided through our research that yes, profits are the only business of businesses. There are just so many advantages to this side of the argument. If a business's main goal is profit, the business will be able to focus its efforts on making money. When companies are making profit, they're able to help people. Companies will make more money, and they will be able to increase employees' salaries and give employees bonuses. They can pay dividends to stockholders. They can their taxes will improve society. And finally, if companies do not make profit, they will not be able to keep their businesses running. Profits are the most important part of business, and that concludes our research. Thanks for watching our program.